big part of this work came out of what is equity? And we utilized the definition from Achieving the Dream. And I'll read it just as it is because I want all of us to see really what this means, what equity means. And again, every institution is going to have their own definition of equity, but it should all be planted in this foundation of some similarities here. So Achieving the Dream believes that access to high quality education in an inclusive environment is the right of all individuals and imperative for the continued advancement of a strong democracy and workforce. Achieving the Dream also believes higher education institutions have an obligation to work toward better equity for their students. Equity then is grounded in the principles of fairness. In higher education, equity refers to ensuring that each student receives what they need to be successful through the intentional design of the college experience. So again, equity is grounded in fairness. What is going to be there to help every student succeed, whatever their success and goals are? We just need to make sure we've given them the fairness there to be able to do that. Now, an important aspect of achieving equity is dismantling barriers. So what are those barriers that may be in place?
Our Closing the Equity Gap subgroup identified 2 initial steps that are important to the process. The first is define equity and to create a statement of commitment to equity-mindedness. The Achieving the Dream statement that Tiffany discussed earlier might serve as a framework, but colleges should consider their own community and student population when developing their definition of equity. Subpopulations might be historically underserved groups, such as racial and ethnic minorities and first-generation students. In addition to defining equity, goals and a timeline for achieving the goals should be established, as well as a system to track progress. It's not enough just to create a statement of equity, but goals must be established to make sure that progress is being made. The second point is that post-secondary institutions should review and amend policies and practices that perpetuate inequities in order to impact a broader community of learners. And this has become increasingly important in recent months, largely because of COVID-19 and inequities that have become more obvious during this time. We defined the steps in the student experience, including connection and recruitment, entry and enrollment, progress and persistence, completion and transition. Transition might be going into the workplace, or it could also be transferring to a baccalaureate institution. And it's important that equity-mindedness be infused in every aspect of the adult learner experience. If it's not, an individual might not make it to that next step.
Transition is the next area, and this is our final area that we were looking at. And as Phyllis stated earlier, that transition after earning that credential can be into the workplace or to a 4-year institution where they are now pursuing a bachelor's degree. Hiring biases, unemployment, geographic challenges, internet access, and wage stagnation still exist, but we've got to make sure that we are doing our part in building those relationships with business and industry, showing the value of our adult learners, and then making them aware that they need an opportunity to be able to interview for positions, but also what can we do to help our adult learners move forward? How do we help them when they don't have internet access? How do we help them when their geographic area is not an area that is employing individuals at this time? How do we help them get to where the jobs are? And finally, in 2016, the U.S. Department of Labor released updated equal employment opportunity regulations for registered apprenticeship programs to encourage employers to reach a more diverse pool of workers. Now, as someone that has registered apprenticeship programs at my college, we are still having challenges with employers really wanting to take advantage of apprenticeship programs, because that means that they have to be open and available to this more diverse pool of workers. And some just are not in that place right now. So again, we got to make sure that equity mindedness becomes a part of our practice and conversation with employers, so they fully understand what the benefits are for a more diverse workforce, but also these adult learners have so much to bring to an organization. The recommendations that were made as far as our transitions was concerned was, we need to engage business leaders and community members in conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion, to be able to build those partnerships and relationships and to support our students and our graduates. That is some ongoing work that we've all got to make a commitment to. Excuse me, and over this time of COVID, what we've had to deal with, seeing it play out in front of our faces, social injustice, and all of those things that are so troubling right now, we've got to still figure out what's the best way to engage our business leaders and our community members in these conversations. And secondly, we've got to work in partnership with business and community to ensure workplace experiences are a part of the education process and provide optimal hiring opportunities for graduates, which include attention to equitable hiring practices. So when we think about that, what are we doing to make sure that the workplace experience becomes a part of the education process? Well, that can only happen when we've got that relationship with businesses and that we can get our students into the business before they complete their credential. So they've had that opportunity for hands-on experiences. So that could be through co-ops, it could be through registered apprenticeships, it could be through practicums, but whatever it is, we've got to have that relationship with the business and that workplace in order for us to get our students into the building.